Hello there voltage modular people, PoohBear here and welcome to my channel, and today we're going to do a quick technical overview of latency checker, and we'll actually do a little demonstration and you can actually see it in use. So the whole purpose of latency checker is to really test your chain and to see how much latency you've got going on, because obviously in some cases, even if there's a sample out, could have an effect. So if I've got an AB switch is opening and closing, and say something like my trig gate, that's going to send out a one sample trigger. If it's obviously open or closed at the wrong time, it could lose that trigger. So sometimes it comes in handy to know exactly what your system is up to. It works in a couple of different modes. It's got an open and a closed sort of system. That's what I refer to them as. I'll talk about that in a lot more detail presently. At the very top, we've got a display, and that display is giving the result in samples. There's a green button, and if you click on that green button, it'll actually give you the result in milliseconds. It's not a toggle button, you just hold it down, and when you let go, it goes back to the samples. So right below it is the first test system, and what that is designed for is what I call more of an open system, where I've got myself a big chain. I can come along, I can take this output and put it in at one end. Over somewhere down, further down the chain, I can take a feed from there and put it back into this in. I can click the start button, it's going to send out a test signal through the chain, back again, and tell me exactly how long that's taken. The second mode is what I refer to more as a closed system. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm able to take a tap out and put it into here, and then further down I can take another tap out and put it into here. And basically this mode is really looking for any kind of changes. So once I've clicked on start, that start puts it into what's called a waiting state. So it's looking for any kind of change. As soon as it's found a change, timer starts, and then it's waiting for a change on the other port. And it doesn't matter which way round this is. So if B is detected first, it's going to wait for A to actually then detect a signal, or vice versa. There's this other little options here, any, which is obviously looking for any kind of signal, or greater than 0. So it's going to ignore 0 or a negative value. So actually let's have a look at in our operation. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this simple out and put it into this in, and I'm going to take this out and put that into in, and we're going to get ourselves a one sample delay. That's quite straightforward. We can do the same down here, and I can come back into here, and we're going to get ourselves a two sample delay, and vice versa. We can go on and go on and go on. You may notice I've actually got this attenuated, so I'm sending out a test signal which happens to be 5 volts. It doesn't matter if it doesn't receive a 5 volt signal back, it knows it's done it. And by the way, I'm clicking on start and it's actually done it. It's going so quickly because obviously it's only got a couple of samples. So if I was to push it down to that next one, we get 3. You can see it's actually working. On the next system, as I say, we're going to take a feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a feed from my trig gate and put it into A. I'm going to take another feed from trig gate. It doesn't matter if I take a gate or a trigger, and put it into this start. So this is just a trigger or a gate, which will actually, it's equivalent of me pushing start, which puts it into a waiting stage. I'm then going to take a delay, I'm going to take a signal out of my tri-gate and put it into the delay. And to use a delay with CV signals, a good way of doing it is you push it on fully wet, bring the feedback fully down, and then obviously you can set your time. Well, I've got 841 milliseconds. Now I'm going to take the result out, and I'm going to push it back into the latency monitor. So when I click go here, it's going to put this into what's called a waiting state. It'll then go into a running state because it's going to detect a signal, and then it will immediately, well, it won't immediately, it'll be 841 milliseconds later, it should detect that signal. So I'm going to click go now, it's in the running, it's completed. That's how many samples was taken, just over 40,000. Let's click our green button, there we go, 841 milliseconds, 841 milliseconds. So I'm just going to unplug this start and just repeat that. So I'm going to manually start it, and there we go, we're in our waiting stage, and that's what I'm referring to. So it's waiting for one of these signals to change. When I click my trig gate, it's going to detect it, it's then going to go and wait for the delay, and there's the delay come round. So we can obviously set that up to a lot higher if we wish to. Again, start, waiting, hit go. It's a little bit longer this time, and there we go. Hit the start, and you can see the times match up. So that's basically how you can use it. Anyway, thank you for watching, bye for now.